doesn't mean everyone will be giants in the classical sense. There will be a limit to it. But you will, in general, continue to get a little bit taller on average over the next few hundred years. However, the grays, remember, are a mutation in the opposite direction because of what happened, because of the negativity that happened, because of the environmental collapses that happened, because they went underground and needed to conserve space. For many different reasons, they made themselves smaller in their genetic mutations, going in the opposite directions to conserve energy, to accommodate the population, and for many other reasons, until such time as they could create the hybrids that would allow their civilization to once again grow taller and taller and taller with each successive generation, which is why there are taller grays and why the hybrids are taller than the grays.
Thank you. We have a few questions about Jesus.
Yes.
Did Jesus really live, or was he a story invented by the Romans?
Yes, he really lived.
Jesus studied in India, so he could have mimicked death and actually risen from a trance-like state. Is this the explanation?
Yes and no. For a being of his capabilities, death, in a sense, what you think of as death, is a state of suspension. He died, but was able to hold himself in that state for days and then resurrect. Now, on your planet at this time, it's not unusual for people to recover from death. You now have a name for it, near-death experiences. But back then, people didn't know much about that. But an ascended being, a master, as Jesus was, did die, but was capable of holding himself in that state of death, suspended for several days, until he was capable of actually allowing himself to resurrect.
So does this mean he had essentially a near-death experience?
Essentially, but different than what you typically understand that to be right now, because there are the added factors of his high vibrational frequency and coming back as an altered being that wasn't exactly the idea you recognize as physical anymore. He was more akin at that point after the resurrection to what we recognize our civilization to be, quasi-physical, having the traits of physical and spiritual beings on an elevated, ascended level.
I see. So he came back with a much higher vibration.
Yes, so he transformed. We believe that your word for it is the transfiguration. He upgraded his frequency to be something between physical and non-physical reality, using the death experience, using his astral experience during that time to transform and transfigure his physical form into a higher fourth density state, even though he was still within what you would call third density reality.
Thank you.
Yes. Remember, as we have said, someone from hundreds of years ago observing any of your bodies would see them as glowing with light because you are of a much higher frequency generally in your society today than the society of hundreds of years ago. So the idea of 2,000 years ago, someone transforming into a fourth density being would be seen as glowing with light.
That's beautiful.
Yes.
And on that topic, this person wants to know if Jesus was actually crucified, and if he came back, did he get married and have kids?
Yes, he was crucified, but Mary Magdalene was impregnated before the crucifixion and went on to have a child from Jesus and was married before the crucifixion. Didn't happen after, happened before.
Can you tell us about his lineage?
No. That will be revealed in time.
Thank you. You've mentioned before that Jews contain a large amount of Anunnaki DNA. Since the Anunnaki was supposedly sent down, in a sense, to the Middle East, does the Arabic population include any similar amounts of that DNA? If so, does this have anything to do with Enlil and Enki?
Yes, it does. But the Middle East is not the only area that the Anunnaki existed in. There were different geographical locations that they set up around your planet. So the Anunnaki genes exist in different cultures, mostly in the indigenous cultures around your planet, in Africa, in the Middle East, in the Americas, so on and so forth. But yes, to answer your question simply, yes, it's all connected to the Sumerian stories in a variety of ways and is representative of the Anunnaki genetic lines in that area.
Could you please describe the use of the Sumerian depictions of Anunnaki holding handbags or a pine cone and bracelet medallion?
These were technologies, different devices for different reasons, communication devices, energy devices, so on and so forth, that were misunderstood at the time.
Okay. In your last transmission, you said, we're just another type of human from when in our linear timeline, from when in our linear timeline was your race created? And how did you commence inhabiting your planet?
About 3,000 of your years ago.
Okay.
This is the voice of Rayon, a representative of the Ashtar Galactic Command speaking to you. For many years you have seen us as lights in the skies. We speak to you now in peace and wisdom, as we have done to your brothers and sisters all over this, your planet Earth. We come to warn you of the destiny of your race and your world so that you may communicate to your fellow beings the course you must take to avoid the disasters which threaten your world and the beings on our worlds around you. This is in order that you may share in the Great Awakening, as the planet passes into the new age of Aquarius. The new age can be a time of great peace and evolution for your race, but only if your rulers are made aware of the evil forces that can overshadow their judgments. Be still now and listen, for your chance may not come again. All your weapons of evil must be removed. The time for conflict is now past, and the race of which you are a part may proceed to the higher stages of its evolution if you show yourselves worthy to do this. You have but a short time to learn to live together in peace and goodwill. Small groups all over the planet are learning this, and exist to pass on the light of the dawning new age to you all. You are free to accept or reject their teachings, but only those who learn to live in peace will pass to the higher realms of spiritual evolution. Hear now the voice of Rilon, a representative of the Ashtar Galactic Command speaking to you. Be aware also that there are many false prophets and guides operating in your world. They will suck your energy from you, the energy you call money, and will put it to evil ends, giving you worthless dross in return. Your inner divine self will protect you from this. You must learn to be sensitive to the voice within that can tell you what is truth and what is confusion, chaos, and untruth. Learn to listen to the voice of truth which is within you, and you will lead yourselves onto the path of evolution. This is our message to our dear friends. We have watched you growing for many years, as you too have watched our lights in your skies. You know now that we are here, and that there are more beings on and around your Earth than your scientists admit. We are deeply concerned about you and your path towards the light, and we will do all we can to help you. Have no fear. Seek only to know yourselves and live in harmony with the ways of your planet Earth. We of the Ashtar Galactic Command thank you for your attention. We are now leaving the planes of your existence. May you be blessed by the supreme love and truth of the cosmos.
We are the Yellow Sonia.